This is the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Inside the ring, outside the ring, it's all here.
We're talking about the greatest sport of all, professional wrestling.
Come on! And now, here's Nick and Keith.
Yeah, buddy ho, it's back. It's true. It's damn true. The Capri Sun is back, and we are back on your TV, your computer. If you're listening to us on the go, we're on your iPhone, Android. What else is there? I mean, headphones. Let's just say universal.
Your Zune. Do Zunes get podcasts still?
Oh, Zune.
Zune still exists?
Zune. Yeah, weren't they the iPods before the iPods?
No, they were supposed to take the iPod down. But totally didn't.
Yep. Well, my name is Nick. His name is Keith, and we're talking about the Samoan Werewolf and the WWE Dream Matches. My name is Alejandro Estrada. Yes, we know it from back in the day. He actually just signed a Legend deal, which is cool. Which
I saw that.
Means
Random.
they're gonna do something with him. So that'll be exciting. Maybe he's inserted into the bloodline. That would be cool. More importantly, maybe something with our boy, the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Now, you kind of have like a love story with Jacob Fatu just because you've seen him a lot on the indie circuits.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's really cool because it's kind of like you with Theory, like you've seen him progress, and now we're seeing him, Jacob Fatu, progress. And you said, hey, last night in Philly, he had his dark match after Raw went off the air, and that got us thinking, hey, dream matches. He's had a match. Now we gotta book the dream matches.
Book what we want from him.
And it's also entertaining or cool, intriguing, I guess, to see someone like a Jacob Fatu. We don't see this often, as in like you don't know what you're gonna get. Like the crazy aspect of him being a Samoan werewolf, like that's a great nickname.
Great.
And you put obviously the Samoan and the crazy werewolf, you put that together and that's what you get, and that's what we get here. It's not unhinged just yet. I don't know if we'll get an unhinged werewolf, but it just seems like that's what he is. He's like the heavy for Solo, and Solo was the heavy for Roman, but he wasn't crazy like that. Like, yes, in matches or at the end with the Samoan Spike, that's when he would get a little, I don't know. It's cool. It's kind of like, I don't want to compare him, not comparing him to AJ Styles, but when AJ first debuted in the WWE, we weren't used to that type of wrestling, that his technique,
his style.
And now, yes, his style. AJ style, phenomenal one. I think he's hurt, but again, that's another day, another time. Keith, let's get to it. Let's talk about the dream matches for Jacob Fatu. Why don't you start us off there, buddy?
Well, yeah, man. Like you were saying, I mean, we have some history with him. I've seen him a couple times on the Indies. We saw him both at MLW. That amazing match.
Yes.
Him and was that him and Hammerstone? No. Yeah. It might have been him and Hammerstone. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Danny will correct us in the comments, I'm sure. But either way, we saw him. He's great. It's he's one of them. I mean, I shouldn't say. I was going to say it first, like he's one of the first ones in a while, but like unfortunately, Tama Tonga Tangaloa kind of took him over too. But like he came in and went right to the main roster. That he's been any time in NXT, which is like wild when you think about it. When like whether you're a fan or not, like Julia is like was a huge star in Stardom and everything, arguably was camera ready and everything, and she's got to take her time down in NXT first. And Stephanie Decor, like all those, so it's cool. Like he came right in because he was ready for him. And there was even the rumors.
Yeah, go aheso
No, there was even
like that's another aspect too that I didn't even think about. Like he didn't go to NXT, like he was ready. And there's like Ethan Page does not need to be there, but that's cool. I didn't think about that aspect.
But and then there was even the rumors too before he actually debuted, where they were just like, like they signed him for a while, but they were holding back on debuting him because they're just like, well, we want him to kind of be like what Solo is now in the Bloodline, but like he's way better than Solo.
Oh, absolutely.
And like he debuted, and it's like, oh, he totally is. I knew that anyway, but like, he definitely is. Yeah. He's way better than Solo, and now he's supposed to be Solo's second. And it's like, I just can't wait for him to turn on Solo and just go into these matches. But yeah, I mean, I think my biggest thing in like making my dream matches up, like picking my guys I want dream matches with them, is it's just like trying to find the guys that like match his intensity with him. He's not He's not
Intensity.
huge. He's not a huge dude, but he's big. He's a thick man. But he's also like real quick. He's super agile. And dudes that can kind of like go toe to toe with that and stuff. So like, I'm going to start it off. I hope we don't have too many repeats in the ones we're going to talk about here, but like, I might steal the first one from you here because I feel like this is the first one that's on everybody's mind is obviously him and Gunther. The general versus the werewolf. I mean, come on. You're going to get a bruising match. They both can move pretty well for being bigger dudes, not big guys, but
no
bigger. It's going to be super intense. It's going to be a match that you watch and you're like, this might not be like a wrestling match. Like it's a match you'll be able to show someone who's not a wrestling fan and they'd be like, dude, I thought wrestling was fake, Yeah.
Don't say that. Yeah.
Well,
now, other than just like the matchup itself, what about like the promos or the storyline leading up? Do you have any like thoughts on that? Like how would this come to be?
Yeah, right. So I think it's a tough one. I hadn't thought too deep into that because like it's weird. Yeah. It's tough to like think of like the booking of it and everything right now because he's so entrenched in all the bloodline stuff right now, and like who knows when or if that stuff is ever going to really like end necessarily. But I feel like it could definitely be something where, depending on how this all like evolves with the bloodline and everything, if it's like, I do think we're getting, bloodline war games match, which is going to be fantastic. And if we eventually get to the end or the first kind of like end of it all is like a combination of them all coming together as the bloodline 2.0 and the regular one back together to be this sort of like bigger tweener kind of thing going on. And maybe Roman gets the title back, but Gunther's still holding it there. And then Roman's like, I want that gold too. Go get it for me.
I dig it. Yeah. And it's something that you can work with. Like it's yes, they're both intense, but they're intense in different ways. Like Gunther's intense, more technical based intense. That's really good words for
exactly. And that's totally what the promos would be. Is like it would be Gunther kind of carrying it. I feel like more on promos because we haven't heard him talk too much. So I think it would be Gunther carrying a lot more of him just being like, dude, like the ring is sacred. This is like where this is my like workspace. This is where I like live. This is what I hold dear. And you are just an animal that's in here that needs to be, taken out and put down.
Caged. Something like that. Yeah, I dig it. In a steel cage. Okay, that's good. Dream match. I took the word dream more. I mean, I got some current guys, but I also thought, you know what, dream match.
Oh yeah,
you may never see it. That's why they call it a dream match. So, again, this won't happen, but god damn, this would be amazing. Jacob Fatu going 1-on-1 with my client, Brock Lesnar.
Nice.
Just the way you can sell it. And also when we had, Brock is so underrated. I hate talking nice about him, but I'm going to do it. Wrestling, in-ring base. That's it. Not talking personal, not talking anything outside of the squared circle. He can go with anyone. He had a great match a few years ago with Daniel Bryan. He had great matches with AJ. I mean, the list goes on. Randy, a little bloody there, but Cena, I mean, just you could go back and, Angle. There's just so many different things. He knows what to do. A, he's a veteran. B, he understands wrestling. And just to see two chaotic based performers going 1-on-1 with, I mean, who would even win? How would you even book it? And then the other aspect is, what even happens? Like, how does it come to be? That I think is what intrigues me, Keith, is like the storyline leading up to it. Like, okay, I went 1-on-1 with the bloodline back in the day, just, Umaga or Rikishi. Like I know what I'm doing here. I don't know, something like that. But what do you think? I know it's a little outside of the box and it's absolutely not going to happen. I don't, maybe in a Saudi show where HBK comes back and, refs for Triple H and Undertaker and, Yoko comes back and he's alive and he's going to wrestle too. Maybe then it will happen. But just overall, what do you think? Brock, the Beast?
Absolutely. Dude, so it's funny because
was that one?
He was going to be. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it. I was doing it as like dream matches of like people who were here
yeah.
we could get we could actually see the match
Well,
happen.
that would make more sense.
So I had him, and then I was like, maybe, but maybe not. We don't know what's going on. Things might have happened, did or didn't. Don't know. We're not talking about him really, but so whatever. I'm going to leave him off of it. But I definitely had that down too, because I'm
I mean, how can it?
If everything is the way that it was, if everything is okay and all that, and he comes back and all, absolutely. How can you not want that? How can you not want that?
Yeah, it's just like
Beast Incarnate versus Samoan Werewolf. Like that
sells right.
That's
there.
a poster. You know what I mean? Like that's a poster.
It kind of reminds me of the vibe going into the Mania match with Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, and Brock. It's like, holy shit, this could be great. And unfortunately, it wasn't.
Right. We got to hope for a better result than how that one went.
But just the idea of it, it's like, okay.
Hell yeah.
And then just go from there. All right. What do you got, brother? You got some more? Let's hear it.
Absolutely, yeah. So the other one, this is actually the first name I thought of, top of my list, really. Obafemi. From NXT.
Gosh.
I mean,
that's such a good one too.
He's literally, to me, he might as well just be Jacob Fatu, just taller, a little more buff, and in NXT right now. It's like the same idea. He's just a bigger dude who's also super agile. I want to watch the both of them just try to throw each other around and just pummel each other to death.
That's good.
And I think they would absolutely do that. And I think as far as like the storyline of it all kind of goes, I think it becomes something. It's going to depend on how they want to book Obafemi coming up when he eventually comes up to the main roster. Because Obafemi, in my opinion, is absolutely a future world champion without question. Yeah. So I'm not saying this has to be a dream match for a belt necessarily or anything like that, but in my perfect world, you would bring him up and start him on kind of almost like, I'm not comparing him to Goldberg, but like put him on like that Goldberg kind of win streak of like he's this new guy on the roster now, and just have him mow through people and just go undefeated, just building up wins and everything for a little while, and then get him to have it be like his first real one. Get him through some people, have him do like some squash matches, local guys coming out, we get Ellsworth squash matches, whatever, for a couple of them to start off.
What a
build
name.
it into getting like, he beats Tozawa real quick. He was the first like smaller guy that like popped into my head, but like, get a couple of those reps in there. And then it's like, all right, his first big one is going to be, he's running his mouth a lot about being, he's hunting through the roster and everything. He's like, I'm hunting for a werewolf now. I want the werewolf. And like have him and Jacob be the first big test, and then that's where it gets tough, because then it's like I don't know who I actually want to win that, because but
that's a tough one. Yeah, but it's still something that's going to, as they say, get butts and seats, and
exactly.
I mean, come on, that would be something cool. All right, let's see what I got here. All right, let's do another dream match. I got Now, I really thought this was going to be your first or second, and I'm sorry if I'm going to take it. It's not Sammy. It's not KO. It's your boy, Mick Foley. Just
didn't steal it, but yes. Oh, yeah.
Just because Mick Foley, again, similar to Brock Lesnar, you can put him in the ring with an Edge, with a Rock, even Brock. I mean, you can put him in with a hardcore match where it just anything goes. But for me, the only thing here is I gotta have a prime Mick Foley. I can't have a Mick Foley that was a commissioner or did his little thing in 2016, 17. He needs to be prime Mick Foley. It could be a Cactus Jack. It could be ECW days. Just again, it's just for me. I'm looking at not so much. Well, I guess to collide, but also to work well with each other. And I know obviously two Hall of Famers, Lesnar and Mick Foley, could lace up the boots and do some really good work there with Jacob Fatu. And again, it's just the idea of, I don't know who would win. I don't know how this is going to start. I don't know why they're going one-on-one, but just to be able to book it for a big time pay-per-view. I mean, come on, it writes itself. I mean, yes, you could set it up, but
Foley would make him look like $1 million. Absolutely. Doesn't matter, because that's like one of those matches, like it wouldn't even matter who wins or loses.
No. Yeah.
Foley would Prime Foley again, Prime Foley, not now, but
Yeah, it's
Prime
gotta
Foley
be.
would, he'd make him look like $1 million. He'd make him look like a
Yeah.
world beater and just bump his ass off for him. It'd be amazing. That's a really good
Yeah.
call. I don't know how I didn't think about that. That's a really
Yeah.
good call. That'd be a beautiful. That's like one of those
Yeah.
things where it's just like, oh, you get a time machine. You get like 3 things you can do. And it's like, well, one would be I'm going to put Jacob Fatu in the time machine with me. We're going
Yes.
back to like 95. We're booking this.
Yeah. And that's also a good point too. Like there's a lot of wrestlers like today's wrestling just wouldn't work back in the day.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of wrestlers today, like a Ricochet, which I love. I'm not hating on Ricochet, but back in the day, it was more of leg locks, submissions, this and that, and slaps, and a bear hug was a finisher. Like
The
to compare it,
Yeti.
yeah, like things like that, like full Nelson is just not what you see these days. But go back 95, with the time machine. It would just, again, I know it sounds repetitive, but it'll just write itself.
Oh yeah.
And I want those promos too. I want those promos from Foley. I want the unhinged capabilities of Jacob, and boom, set it on fire,
That's
man.
it,
Let's
exactly.
go, baby. What do you got? Let's hear it.
So I'm gonna. This one's, I guess, one's cheating a little bit, but I would do. I wrote down specifically Brutus, but either one of the Creed brothers, really.
Oh, damn, man!
Because again,
See, keeping in that
same kind of theme of just like, just dudes, like bigger dudes that like are agile and just like impressive. Put him in there with the guy that we're talking about that is just like a thick monster who is quick and impressive.
Yeah.
And let them go. This one, this is an easy one. Like it writes itself. You figure as long as Bloodline 2.0 is going to stay together, you got to have factions to go against. We got them. We got American Made. Boom. Just go for it.
I love it.
Gable wants to come after them for whatever reasons. They're the ones that are dominating. No, we're the dominant ones now. Brutus, go get them.
Yeah.
And just sends the 2 of them after them and, go for it from there. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Writes itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'm going to stick with, I'm going to go with current, actually, a current superstar. And it's a little easy. It's maybe too easy, but we're talking Bloodline. Come on. To see The Rock go one-on-one with Jacob Fatu. I know this channel, if you watched the past every episode after WrestleMania 40, we don't talk
after the documentary of WrestleMania 40. Yeah, pretty much.
We're not big Rock fans, but let's be honest, he sells tickets, he sells merchandise. He can bring his fake title that Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson gave him and put it on the line for all I care. But again, leading up to it, that's that I say it all the time, it's more about the moments, and the moments of this happening would just be something special. Again, it's not going to be a 5-star Meltzer match, but it's going to be a great storytelling match because storytelling, just storyline, the feud, everything, just because that let's we're honest here. The Rock is good at that. The Rock is good at selling shit. He's good at telling a story. I know we're not big fans, but what do you got? What do you think?
I'm all for it, but it's gotta be a squash. I need to see them.
Shit.
Yeah, I need to see it face off, and I need to see Jacob just murder him.
How long? Like 3 minutes?
So I say squash. That doesn't, not like a full on squash, but I don't want I don't want a 15 minute back and forth between them.
No, that wouldn't sell either.
7, 8 minutes ish.
I dig it.
At most.
I dig it.
Just where Rock gets a comeback spot, maybe gets a people's elbow off, and then Jacob just gets right up like and just goes and just hits the jugular, rips him, done for.
I dig it. again, you could do so much more, and you don't really have to tell the story. It's just like,
because it's all there.
Bloodline, boom, that's
Exactly.
it. And just going in depth. I mean, you could talk about Umaga. You could talk about, it would just be something special, like The Rock. I saw you growing up and this and that. Just again, more reality based is what I love.
Yeah.
And those moments, you can't beat it.
No, you're totally right, because it's all there. I didn't even think about that. That's like a great story for it. Is it's like you have trying to get involved and do whatever with the new bloodline, and then he's the easiest one to step up and be like, you're not a bloodline. Where were you? While I was, because he went to jail for something, but he served a little bit of time. But just like when I was in trouble,
really?
you were all filming the friggin' Tooth Fairy or whatever. Like
the mummy.
You're not bloodline like we are. You didn't scrape and scrap for anything. You just got famous and left us all behind. Like, get out of here. So I'm into it. Much as all the flack we give to The Rock, I would want to see it. I just, like I said, Jacob has to win. It's got to be pretty decisive too. Yeah.
Let's get to the next one. I got The Rock. What do you got? You got a dream opponent? You got another? Let's hear it.
All of mine they're all current guys.
I dig it.
And I got one more here, and then I got like a kind of honorable mention, but I wrote down, but I'm like,
The duder.
But next real one is I'm going back to NXT for it. Tavion Heights.
Wow.
Which I don't know.
Wow.
Might be a little bit of a dark horse for even people that watch NXT and everything, because he hasn't been on a whole lot more lately. But just, I mean, he's an Olympic wrestler. He's it's the same as everybody else, like I said on this list. Like he's a thicker dude. He's quick. He's really good technically. This is another one that kind of like almost writes itself, where it's like the Gunther one almost, of just like, you got the more technical guy who's like big and quick still, and you got just the absolute mauler brawler that's quick and that's bigger and agile also. And just let them it's almost like a cockfight. Just like sit them in the corners, let them be all rabid, move the things, and just run and let it happen.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about it. And NXT is a great place for this to happen. It's something that we've seen often, where there's Randy that comes in because they were in St. Louis, Punk came in because they were in Chicago. Right. To have someone like Jacob Fatu come in, maybe they're in Florida, and just set the scene there. I mean, it's all about the storyline. It's all about the moments, and for that, it's an up and comer. Actually, both are. I mean, if you're just wrestling WWE fan, both are up and coming, and that again, it's all about the moments, but it's also about the unknowns for me. And
for sure.
Again, book itself. Yeah, I got one more. Let's go with this one. Again, it's more dream match. This
I'm into it.
I don't think it would happen, but I want to see it more for, like you said. You said you mentioned a lot of NXT superstars. I always want to say wrestlers, but whatever. Wrestlers, superstars.
It's all the same.
Entertainment? Is it pro wrestling? It doesn't matter. But thick. Something where you can sell the feat of strength, and that's what I got here. Again, this is out of left field, but Mark Henry. I think he's done with AEW. His son was just signed by the WWE.
Yes.
Bring him back for another, what is it? Hall of Pain?
Hall of Pain. Hall of
Pain. And just have the story tell itself. I know I've said that often during this episode, but it's just the truth. I mean, you put in Brock Lesnar, it's going to sell. It's going to do what you want it to do in the ratings or whatever. The Rock, same thing. It's just going to tell itself. You don't need to do too much. And for Henry, it's more of like the feat of strength. And that, this used to be my stomping yard. I used to be the man that was the guy when it comes to, heavyweights, I guess you could say. Because, I guess Fatu was a heavyweight. He's kind of sort of still a heavyweight, but he looks much better in that aspect. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just to see that, and again, selling itself. We haven't seen Mark Henry in the ring. I don't even think he went. Did he have any? Was he active?
I don't think he wrestled in AEW.
More of a training, whatever.
Yeah. It's time for the main event. Yeah.
Oh yes, Rampage when they did that for a few months and said, okay, well, Henry, whatever. But yeah, again, it's going to sell itself, and you could do so much too because Henry is just so underrated. I mean, if you watched his documentary on A&E, it's like back and forth, Olympian or almost Olympian. He's obviously one of the world's strongest men back in the day.
Man.
But it also had to do with a lot with bullying and just being who he is. And it just, I don't think he's ever been able to but the potential, I think, was so much more. Yes, he was an ECW champion. Yes, he did that with the retirement speech with, Cena. He had his big moments, WCW gold belt champion. I mean, there's a lot of things that he did, but it's just like maybe there's something more, and he can go. I don't see how he can't go. He looks like he's in great shape, probably better shape. But again, it's a dark horse, but I've always been a sexual chocolate fan, so
hell yeah.
Maybe get some hoes too. We'll get Attitude Era, Val Venus, and The Godfather. But thoughts on that, and then let's hear your honorable mention.
My honorable mention, yeah. So I'm into that. I think that's another one though. I would want to see like prime Hall of Fame Mark Henry with it.
Yeah, good point.
Because right now he's just
That's what I
maybe
do.
Maybe he can go still. Maybe he can't. I don't really know. But like, take it out of the equation. Just give me Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, that's like you said, it's like another one that like, I know we keep saying it, but it does like, it's like a right itself thing. Like you have like that prime Mark Henry going, you have Jacob being, the muscle that he is and everything. And then just Mark Henry just steps up and is like, you think you're strong? You think you're strong? Yeah. You're not even close, bud. Like come get it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. And then my honorable mention, it was on there, and like it could still be good. I'm not opposed to it. It wasn't as, he doesn't quite fit because he's bigger, but Bronson Reed. But that's also just because I want Bronson Reed to do everything and just give him all the love in the world. But mainly the reason I left out, like I'm putting him as like honorable mention more is because that's another one like the Obafemi one where I'm just like, I don't know who I want to win that one because I want both of you to keep your momentum going and keep it good and everything. So just kind of shied away with it. But obviously, that would be great. Bronson Reed's great.
Yeah.
And it's that same kind of thing we just talked about with Mark Henry. It's like your test of strength. Like you think you're strong. Like come get the biggest you can and see what you can do. Yeah.
I dig it. It's a dream. Most of the guys you said might actually happen, and man, I'm all there for that. I think that's something that we're going to see. But again, this is this discussion came from his dark match that he had. Yep. Who was it?
It was him and Cody in a Philadelphia street fight in the dark match at the Raw last night on October 21st.
How did they come up with that? Oh, Philadelphia, ECW. That sounds good. Good shit. Yep. Well, Keith, give the people what they want. How can they find you?
You already know. I am on X and TikTok at Keith of the Ring, and I'm on Instagram at _Keith of the Ring.
Yes, sir. And you can find us right here on the UW Pod, uwpod.com. We have a fancy website. Go check us out there. And all over Twitter, all over X, all over all social medias. Go check us out. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Hit that button, subscribe. Like I said, X. And yes, we do still have a Facebook. So go check us out there. Have a good one, peeps. Peace.